Happy Friday, Soraya.
Hey, Jeff, how you doing?
I'm doing excellent.
Nice. You got that brand new, spanking new, awesome Iron Man creating vaccine in your arm.
Yes, about 2 hours old, 2 or 3 hours old, and
Amen. When your superpowers kick in, let me know.
you should be fully superpowered, right? Oh.
First rule of superhero-dom.
Oh.
We never discuss superhero-dom.
All right. So we're on our way to being healthy and hopefully getting back to live shows and
yes,
hanging out at the new Amoeba in Hollywood and going record shopping.
Folks, it's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
But we are ready.
It's been a long time since we rock and rolled. Speaking of rock and roll, we're going to be talking about some rock and roll today.
Oh man, today Jeff and I are doing another in our album focus series, and we are taking a look at an album that Jeff and I love by the one and only the Hellenes, and it's called I Love You, All the Animals.
Yes, or if you speak French,
Je t'aime tous les animaux.
Exactly. An album that we both love a lot.
Yes.
Yes.
Great band and an amazing album. So Jeff, let's get it started.
Let's do it.
Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff.
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
A podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a grooviar.
Let's get groovy. All right, so I Love You, All the Animals by the Hellenes, which is pretty much Rain Parade minus Stephen Roback.
And with a bunch of fun guest stars.
Yes, yeah. A list of them, right?
And it's a heavy hitter list. Okay, yeah. Jeff, you have the album close.
Yes.
So just rattle off a few of those names that I know our listeners will know.
Yeah, there's a list. So the main group consisted of Matt Pucci, John Thoman, Alec Palau, Stephen Hunka, Mark Hanley, and Derek C., all who have played with Rain Parade at one point or another, and most of them in the current lineup.
And many of those have shown up at some time on our podcast.
Yes.
Friends of the podcast.
Yeah. And I'll just rattle off some of the guest stars.
Please.
So we got Billy Talbot, the famous Billy Talbot, 77-year-old Billy Talbot. Jody Stevens, drummer for Big Star. Nelson Bragg, Brent Rademacher, Paulette Human Being, Jim Hill, who we've talked to also, Jack Watterson, who we've talked to, Tom Carnes, Eric Pearson, Bobby Todd, James Boblak, and Angeline King, and Araya Frankfurter, I think is how you pronounce the name. So it's a whole list of folks that helped put this project together.
Amazingly talented folks, and what they've given us is a really solid album from start to finish. And it's one of those albums, I don't know, I mean, Jeff, I can only speak for myself, but it's one of those albums that once it's gotten to the end, I want to go back to the beginning, and I'll usually listen at least 2 times through.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
It gets in your system.
Yeah, I was gonna say that this was one that slowly sunk its claws into me, and it's deep in there now. So it's,
yeah.
And we've talked to Matt a little bit about it when we brushed through a bunch of records, albums that he's played on, but not really in the depth that we're hoping to go into today. We've talked with Jim Hill when we visited his studio, and we got to hear some of these songs in the studio, and he split some of the tracks out, the multi-tracks, and did some isolation for us, which was really cool. And man, we've mentioned before it was like going to church listening to.
Yes, sir. It was.
These
we were
songs.
in the cathedral. Yep.
And we don't know a whole lot about it other than what we learned talking to Matt before and Jim Hill. So we decided to give Matt a call last night and get a little bit of background so we could talk a little bit about some of the songs that we've picked to play.
Yeah. And he was kind enough to sit and chat with us and talk to us a little bit. You know, Jeff and I, for these album focus, we each picked 2 songs. So, you know, um, it was really kind of him to sit and talk with us about these 4 songs in particular.
Yes, yeah. So I say we get into it and play these songs and maybe talk about why we picked them and what.
I like that idea. I really do. So just Jeff, why don't you remind our listeners what year was this album recorded?
Oh, good question. Yeah, I don't even know that.
2018. I'm going to share that with you.
Thank you. I was going to say, yeah, it was 2018, 2019.
Yeah. So, you know, Jeff and I do a lot of album focus on albums from, you know, the key moments of the Paisley Underground scene. But, you know, we've also paid a lot of attention to a lot of these other groups that have happened in other recordings. So this is a more recent one and worth having in your collection. Yeah, 2018. Oh, yes. But yeah, I mean, and that list of musicians, I mean, sorry, that's pretty spectacular.
Yeah, absolutely. So
yeah, I think we got to start with you.
Why?
Because side A, song 1,
right,
is your first pick, and so let's just get to it.
All right, I'm notorious for picking the lead-off tracks.
Well, you know what? Somebody's got to do it.
Yeah, I think those. You know, I'm big on sequencing, and I think a lot of times there's a reason why bands put certain songs in the lead-off spot. So, they're usually ones that catch you right away, and Chesterine is the lead-off track, and that's no exception for me. Just listening to the song come off, in this case, off the needle, hearing it was just amazing. The first thing I thought of was Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys, maybe the Smiley Smile era, right after Pet Sounds, when they were getting a little bit more complicated, like with the Pet Sounds era and the Smile era, and some of the arrangement on this song is just beautiful, and the vocals are beautiful, and I just think it's a great song. So I want to definitely highlight it. And we asked Matt if he had any nuggets that he could share about this. And I remember one of the first things he said was the name Chesterine. He was looking to have a song with a personal name, somebody's personal name. And for those of you who don't know, Matt works in forensics. So that's pretty exciting to me, because my line of work, one of the things that we do where I work is provide DNA test kits, and Matt says he uses quite a bunch of our material. So for me, that's pretty exciting. And I know he shared some personal stories with me where they were able to identify some people that made some bad choices, and they were able to identify it because of using the kits that my company provides, and them having the talent to know what to do with it, right? So thank you, Matt, for doing that, and your team. But there was a woman that worked, one of his colleagues, that was in clothing forensics, if I remember correctly. Mm-hmm. And Chesterine was her name, so he thought it was an unusual name, one that he hadn't heard in the song, I should say, rather than unusual. Yeah, so it was a unique name. So that's where the name Chesterine came from. I liked it, and I didn't think of this when he mentioned it, because the song flows, but that there's a couple different time signatures in the song. So it goes from 6/8 to 4/4, 4/4 being your standard. And in this song featured saxophone, which you don't really hear in Matt Pucci songs very often. Yes. So again, Eric Pearson is the gentleman that's playing the saxophone in here. So that's something you don't hear very often. And I was asking about the oohs in here were very Beach Boys-ish. And Matt said it was him and Paulette, and probably Mark Hanley and Thoman are doing vocals, and maybe Tommy Carnes too. But also featured in the song is double bass, that's played by Bobby Todd, who plays on another song I think that we're going to talk about later. But all that, it's a great song, no matter how you slice it. And I think Matt was saying that this originally came out, or he started writing this with the Boat Club
Right.
band, which is a lot of the same players that are playing on this. So he said he had the mindset of like similar to what Brian Wilson had, where speaking of Beach Boys, where he went into it with all these different parts and he was very specific in what he was looking for. He knew what he was looking for, and what came out of it was Chesterine. So,
and I think he said I had to hear it. I had to hear it in my head first, and then. So
sounds like Brian Wilson, right?
Yeah, 100%. But great minds.
Yes, and to me, it's a 3-minute song, but it sounds like an epic. To me, it sounds like it just has that feel of an epic type song, and he does it in 3 minutes. So this will keep Jim Strong happy. So 3 minutes. So let's kick off the Hellenes. I Love You, All the Animals with the lead-off track, Chesterine. Gorgeous.
We went to church.
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
We went to church.
Yeah, I can actually hear the time signature now change.
Now it's a lot clearer.
Yeah, now that he's mentioned it, but it flows so well. It doesn't feel like. But I would imagine if you're on the dance floor and you're dancing and you got to switch it up, like, oh, wait a minute. It's like, so yeah, I don't know if you'd be hearing this in the club, but
no, it might be like that bridge song between sections, like hot and heavy, then kind of slow it down, then bring it.
Yeah.
But what we hear there, this is not a lot of the Rain Parade members, but it's not a Rain Parade song. Yeah, not a Rain Parade album. And I think that's the thing. If you're looking for Rain Parade and with another band name, this isn't it. but you hear some of the things that you definitely find on a Rain Parade album. And, you know, those harmonies, that synchronicity, and these arrangements. I mean, I think this is the thing about Chesterine that really takes me to another place when I hear it. It's just, it's all so flawless.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful piece.
Whew. Love it.
All right. So what's your first pick for today?
Well, mine is also from side A, and it's song number 3 in the list, and it's Better Place.
Better Place.
And when we asked Matt Pucci for a little information about the song, and when you hear it, you definitely hear that he used the term, it's a weird anger, but it's an anger not based in ire, it's based in fear. And it's about, you know, it came from a place of being concerned. And so the song speaks to that concern, where sometimes that concern comes out in anger, and it's simply because you just don't know what to do with it. But one of the things I like about this song is that the lyrics are what strikes me. And then, you know, you've got this really cool arrangement to envelop it. So let's listen to it. Better Place.
Love it.
It's so good. I love the guitar on this song. Um, and those two lines, like the line from the chorus, this world won't be a better place without you. You know, it gets to you. And the other line, you can't always sleep with a dream on your mind. You know, and it's like those nights where your mind just simply won't let things go. And yeah, I love this song. I really, really do. So I'm glad I picked it as my first.
I'm glad you did too. Yeah. Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah.
Who knew?
Yeah. A lot of great guitars on these albums, and a lot of great guitar players. So you got Matt, you got Thoman, you got Derek, you got Mark. So yeah,
It's coming at you from all ways. And you know, all the songs on this album, they're either credited only to Matt Pucci, or Matt Pucci and you know, Stephen Honka, or Matt Pucci and Stephen Roback. And so, you know, they all have this really strong foundation. And then you add in all these beautiful musicians that just
Yep. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, what's your next one?
So I was very tempted to pick the title track, I Love You All the Animals. I was tempted to pick all 9 songs.
Which would be a 9-hour episode. So
yeah.
Thank
but
you.
Yeah, my third pick would have been I Love You All the Animals. Such a beautiful piece.
So can we stop for a second and just mention one little detail that Matt Pucci mentioned about the song I Love You All the Animals?
Please. Yeah.
He said he started writing the song as a joke.
Oh, yeah.
All right. He said, like, in my head, it was like I wanted to write a Syd Barrett song. Remember?
Yeah.
But
which he's never done before. He said, yeah. So he's like, that's not something I usually do. But
and then, you know, and then we get this song. And I really encourage everyone. I mean, Jeff and I have referred to this song before. We've talked about it before.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get the album, which is available on vinyl, CD, and digital through Bandcamp Friday's coming.
Yeah.
So
should be the day that this is.
Yeah. So, you know, you can absolutely go get Hellenes. It's on Bandcamp. But when you listen to it, that's why I found it funny that he said I started writing it as a joke. But when you hear it, it's like, how is this a joke?
Yeah.
You know, or how did it start that way? Because it's really good. And then you also have the benefit of someone singing, you know, in French, Je t'aime tous les animaux.
And who does that?
And that's Angeline King singing that. But so I just wanted to pause right there because it is a really solid song, but we've talked about it before. And, you know, we had different picks, but
that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to highlight this one, because we kind of already did. But yeah, what a great piece that is too. But
now, your next pick,
we're flipping the record.
We flipped it over. We're on side B.
Yes. So there's a number of songs that I could have picked from side B too. We've talked about the comet quite a bit and being a reference to Will Glenn. But Beautiful Flower is the one that I went with, and it's solely because of the guitar part. The guitar part is amazing. And when we talked to Matt, he said that he was just sitting down with his guitar, just riffing like guitar players do. And he came up with this guitar riff, and he thought, wait, he was listening back to it, and he's like, this is not so bad. This is a pretty cool riff. So he developed it into a song. And we did learn that his Gretsch guitar that he plays all the time, right, was unavailable at the time of recording this. So he used his SG on this one, and that normally doesn't happen. I think he said that pretty much every song he's recorded has always been on his Gretsch, but this is one of the few that wasn't. So for us guitar players, that was an interesting tidbit. And I had mistakenly thought that the electric piano I was thinking it was a Fender Rhodes, but it's a Wurlitzer. And now that he's mentioned that, of course it is. And unfortunately, that it got stolen, right?
We got stolen from in front of the studio. And since I'm the non-musician in the group, I found out that Wurlitzers are called whirlies.
Whirlies, yeah. Yeah.
Because the two musicians were having a discussion about a whirly, and I'm thinking, what's a whirly? And then Jeff said Wurlitzer, and I said, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
But again, this is why I don't know if you want to do it before or after. Where the inspiration for this song came from.
Yeah, so it had to do with Katrina in New Orleans. In fact, I think that Matt said that New Orleans is the beautiful flower, right? Blossoming after coming after this terrible thing. And I think he might have mentioned that both him and I were there, not together, but shortly after Katrina hit. And seeing the devastation there was just terrible.
He said he came up with the guitar riff about 6 weeks post Katrina.
Okay.
But it was still very vivid and very fresh.
Yeah. So that was the inspiration behind Beautiful Flower, and the bridge was specifically written for Thoman to play some slide guitar parts. So when you're listening to this song, pay special attention when we get to the bridge. You'll hear John Thoman highlighted on slide guitar. But I picked it because it's a great song and it's a great guitar song, and we'll be saying that a lot with anything Matt Pucci related. So,
absolutely.
So here's Beautiful Flower. I love that whirly. I love that guitar. I love Thoman's slide part in that bridge.
Cool.
The vocals are great.
Yeah.
Great song. Great song.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say anymore.
All right. So your second pick is on side 2 as well.
Yes, and it is the last song. And it's a song called Water. And to quote Matt Pucci, I don't know what the hell it was about. But these are the things that I like, because he said, you know, I don't know what it's about, but whoever's listening will put the meaning that they want to it that's relevant to them. One of the things I really, really enjoyed about this song is knowing that Billy Talbot sings on it. And then Matt Pucci shared that Billy Talbot had rented this gorgeous piano. And he said, oh, we're going to use that. And so this piano comes in, but also we get to get like a different side. So thanks to Stefan Hunke, he brings in someone to play strings about a year after the song had been recorded, but to add in, and that's Aria Frankfurter.
Yeah, you're right.
And so you get this really interesting vibe added into this song with these strings. And on the album, it's credited, Aria is credited as playing violin, viola, and cello.
Wow.
So you're getting a lot of different sounds.
She's the whole string section.
Whew. And another thing that's really interesting is Matt mentioned that he began writing the song, but then the lyrics changed. So the song evolved over time. And I like the song. I really enjoyed the arrangement of the song, and the inclusion of the strings. Matt had mentioned to us that he said initially when the idea was brought to me, I wasn't too sure, but once, you know, it was there, it's like, oh yeah. So like this song has a lot of interesting elements that I just enjoy, and great arrangement. So Water.
Used to be in charge of it all. Let the peals ring to the fall. Don't worry about the sound when you hit the ground. All that will remain of the pain is small. Feel the water, dream the farther.
That's a beautiful piece.
You see that guitar, it just like it comes in super heavy at the end. I just like that. And then just takes us out. Have to mention also the double bass played by Bobby Todd on this. And this was another song, and I feel like we've kind of come full circle where Matt Pucci mentioned that for this song, this was another song where the arrangement, like I had to, like Brian Wilson, he had to hear it in his head first. And then, once things started appearing, then the arrangement. So, and you can hear it, that harmony just in that, that, ooh, you hear it. It's just a very harmonious, and it's super melancholy, this song. But
yeah, it's a great way to close it out too, tying in with Chesterine and the vocals and the way that he told us that he approached these two songs and how those are the bookends for the album, right?
Yeah.
Great way to close it out.
Yeah. And if you don't have this album, you need it. You need it. Jeff has many albums that are signed.
Yeah.
I don't, but Jeff does. But yeah, this I like that cover too. Yeah. This needs to be a part of your collection, and if you're a fan, not just of Rain Parade and Matt Pucci and Stephen Roback and Mark Hanley and John Thoman and Billy Talbot and etc.
Yeah, right.
But it's just a really solid album and worth the investment of having in your library, in your musical library.
Absolutely. And we should mention, for those who don't know, that Billy Talbot is part of the Crazy Horse band. So
yeah,
we talked about Neil Young last week on our Sid and Susie episode. So
we're gonna keep on coming back.
I don't know if you can see this, but
featuring members of Rain Parade, Crazy Horse, Big Star, Brian Wilson Band,
Beechwood Sparks, and Gospel Beach.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's the hype sticker on it. So all kinds of talent.
Exactly. This is a really strong album. I do want to mention two last little things. Okay, so we already talked about Bandcamp Friday coming up on what day is that? April the 2nd?
Yeah, so it should be today if you're listening to this the day this is released.
And a nice little piece of trivia that Matt Pucci shared with us is that Jim Hill went to Poland to record some of the music that appears in a current release called The Courier, with starring Benedict Cumberbatch as a spy.
Yeah. So
but I can absolutely see Jim Hill having like all the beauty of a symphony or an orchestra and just recording, taking us to church again.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing I wanted to mention is Pucci gave us a couple of little interesting tidbits for Rain Parade fans. And that is that there is new music in
lots of new music.
Lots. He said, quote, more than could fit on an album. And Jeff and I kind of perked up. And so, I think as we're starting to turn a corner here in the US regarding the pandemic, I'm really hopeful that this means that at some point we'll be able to hold in our hands an album with new material from Rain Parade, which is just exciting. Hoping that we'll be able to go to live shows soon. And since I'm fully vaccinated, Jeff is halfway there. Oh, Maron. Hopefully we get this going, because it's been a year of just waiting.
Absolutely.
So, and Jeff and I have made the agreement, we've pinky swore that road trip, we will go to wherever Rain Parade is playing.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, great album.
It is. And you reminded me of something that I wanted to bring up with Chesterine,
Sure.
just to throw this in.
Yeah.
That that was originally written on piano. So I forgot to mention that. You brought up Billy Talbot having that beautiful piano, but Matt had started to write Chesterine on piano part and developed it from there. So thought I'd throw that in there.
Absolutely. You know, fun musician info.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully we got most of this right. I'm notorious for taking information and and mixing it up, but a lot of fun facts. Yeah. Yeah. These are my notes. I have to keep them all separated, so I've got one for each song. So I was like, okay, I don't want to get the songs wrong, but
Jeff and I were on a call with Matt Pucci, and I was writing with a very sharp tipped pen, and so I'm sure they all heard me going
yeah.
on paper, but information is information.
Yeah.
I need to know the story.
Yeah, and you like to get it right.
Well, I try. I do my best.
Yeah.
Do my best. But once again, mi gente, great listen. What else is there to do? Agurubiar, mi gente.
Groove on, all you crazy animals. I love you all.
Je t'aime tous les animaux.
I love you, all the animals. Don't know what I do. Je t'aime, tous les animaux. C'est pas ce que je